So many people have pointed out that this new pope is relatively progressive compared to other popes. And we have yet another example of it right here. So CBS is reporting that the Vatican says transgender people can be baptized and become godparents now. But of course, there's caveats, because you're never going to have the Catholic Church, a religious institution, unequivocally do something that's positive. There's always going to be a but or a by the way. The Vatican announced Wednesday that transgender people can be baptized and become godparents under certain conditions, as well as serve as witnesses to church weddings. The statement, which was written in Portuguese, was made in response to a Brazilian bishop who asked the Vatican about the church's stance on transgender people within its congregations. The Vatican's document stated that transgender people, including those who have received hormone replacement therapy or sex reassignment surgery, can be baptized under the same conditions as other believers, but only if there is no risk of generating a public scandal or disorientation among the faithful. But the document did not clarify what a public scandal would entail. Yeah, I don't know what that means. Does that mean that if it's a trans person who's been involved in controversy and said un-Catholic things that they're not allowed to become, or is it that if there's enough backlash from other Catholics in the area that then it's not allowed? I literally don't know what they mean. Additionally, the statement allows for transgender children and adolescents to be baptized as well. That's way more progressive than I would have expected. And added that there is no reason why transgender people cannot serve as witness at weddings. The document also specifies that a same-sex couple would be able to baptize a child who had been adopted or born via surrogate, providing there is a well-founded hope that he or she will be educated in the Catholic religion. The Vatican's affirmation that transgender people should be welcome in the Church's sacramental life signals Pope Francis' desire for a pastorally focused approach to LGBTQ issues is taking hold. Francis D. Bernardo, executive director at New Ways Ministry, a Catholic outreach that aims to build bridges between the Catholic Church and the LGBTQ community, wrote in an editorial Thursday, "As for whether transgender people can be godparents, the Church was again vague, saying it would allow transgender people to fill these roles, again provided there was no danger of what it termed a scandal. The Church said it leaves the decision up to pastoral prudence, but without providing specifics, clarifying that such a function does not constitute a right in the eyes of the Church." So it does appear to be like if there's enough pushback against it in certain conservative Catholic churches or regions or congregations, that then they'd say, okay, well, not in that scenario. So it's classic, like, incremental change. It's like when the Pope has said kind things every now and then about gay people, but, you know, it's not like he came out in favor of gay marriage, right? I'm pretty sure he didn't do that. This is another example. Like, yeah, we're cool with trans people. You know, I'm cool with them. They could be in the religion and all that fun stuff. But if there's a very conservative Catholic district where they don't want to do that, well, you know, it's pastoral prudence. They could do what they want. That seems to be the general breakdown. Now, I should point out, though, as well, there was just a very conservative Catholic bishop, is it? Or priest? Some conservative Catholic leader in Texas who Pope Francis just dismissed. He basically just kicked him out of the church, kicked him out of his position, because apparently this guy's very conservative and he oftentimes undermines the Pope. Now, you know, some might say, oh, heavy-handed tactics or whatever. But look, the fact of the matter is I was raised Catholic, so I know the way that this stuff's supposed to work. And the bottom line is the Pope in the Catholic religion is like the closest thing to God on the earth. The Pope is supposed to have like a direct line to God. So anything the Pope says is basically Catholic law and Catholic teaching. So for somebody who's a Catholic to then turn around and say, I disagree with the guy who's a demigod, it's like, all right, well, you're not really doing this whole Catholicism the way it's supposed to be done. So if he wants to kick your ass out, hey, man, that's the hierarchy you signed up for. You signed up for this hierarchy. So he dismissed one of these conservative leaders in the Catholic Church. That's kind of based. But look, is this going to lead to widespread acceptance of trans people in Catholicism? I don't know if I'd go that far. I don't know. It's interesting because Catholics are the most evenly split religious group in America, where you look at polling and it's almost exactly 50% of Catholics are Democratic voters and 50% are Republican voters. And so this is sort of in line with what it's like in the U.S. in a sense, right? Where it's like some are conservative, some are liberal. I've been in Catholic Mass where they try to make it as much as possible really apolitical. It's not like, you know, Midwestern or Southern Baptist stuff or evangelical Christian stuff. It's not like the hardcore Protestants who are all about like preaching anti-abortion stuff and socially conservative stuff. The Catholic Church, even though they are like anti-abortion, it never really came up, at least in the church that I was taken to as a kid. And so, I don't know. Look, as per usual, this Pope goes above and beyond what other religious leaders are willing to say and do when it comes to various progressive social issues, which is good. He's anti-war and all that stuff. That's all good. But, of course, I can't help but have the agnostic and the atheist in me come up here at the end and say, this, like, sort of half-measure bullshit is just what happens when you have a religious framework and you're up against a tide of social conservatism, which was part of the church for so long. It's like you can never just come out and say, we are totally pro-trans people. It's got to be this weird, mealy-mouthed, middle-of-the-road, like, you know, maybe in some instances they can be part of the church, but maybe in other instances not. Like, you know what I'm saying? And same thing with the comments on gay people's better than any other religious leader. But at the same time, it's like, not enough, right? So this is my pitch to just don't be part of a legalized larger cult, right? Be agnostic, be atheist, be secular. You know, this is the name of the channel, right? Say secular talk. It's like you can use your mind, you can use your brain. You don't have to be part of this weird group in order to feel like you have meaning and purpose. In fact, I think more oftentimes than not, it's some secular thing that provides meaning and purpose for people. It's not necessarily religion. Religion does for many people. There's a lot of people who find meaning and purpose outside of some religious context and framework. And I think that's preferable. I think that's just better. Hey, y'all, do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm. Click the bell as well for notifications when videos drop. And watch that video on screen right now. You know you want to.